Welcome to the Mean Street Podcast with Brandon Benefield.
Hey, what is going on here?
Adam Howell.
Okay, I need 33 1/3 pounds of bacon.
Alfred Romero.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm like a dumpster.
And Adrian Moss.
Let's do this!
We use the word revolution because this is a revolution.
Hold one, arm drag. Woo!
The millions.
What? That's the big wiggle.
Look at all of this crap in this ring.
Hold two, arm bar.
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
It's still real to me, damn it.
That's right, yet another podcast about professional wrestling. Seriously, guys?
Making their way to the ring at a combined weight of 776 pounds, the Mean Street
Podcast.
Hold three, the moss-covered, three-handle family Gradunzel. Two, sweet!
God almighty, the roof just came off.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Hey, everybody, welcome to another great edition of the Mean Street Podcast. It's your pal, Brandon Benefield, a.k.a. B-Double, if you will, joined on the interwebs with my brothers from other mothers. A-Bomb Too Sweet. How's it going, buddy?
Oh, man, you know how it's going. I am here to deliver some unbiased journalistic integrity to the meanies, to raise the standard by silencing the falseness on this dead end that leads to Mean Street. And this week, I'm not throwing it. I'm not throwing it to Alfred Romero. He ain't here.
What?
Instead, we have a temporary co-host of superstars of FanFest, legendary Shawn Holcomb. How are you, brother?
Man, I'm doing great. I'm telling you, it's a beautiful day, and got the beard going.
Yeah,
Nice.
you do.
You look super fresh, man. I
got
like
my
it.
COVID beard going on. I'm excited about the show, but we got one more person that we've got to bring in, and that's the Big Moss Man from Bibb County.
That's right, baby. And as you guys can see, I'm actually here. Alfred's behind me in the Mean Street taco truck, and I just went up and I just ordered this. I thought it was a Cuban sandwich, but apparently it's a Razor Ramon Cuban sandwich. So this is going to be spectacular. So I'm going to be eating this.
Well,
That's
That
fantastic.
sounds fantastic. But number one, I just want to point out that Shawn threw it to Adrian better than Alfred ever has.
That's true.
Yep.
And number two, if you're going to a taco truck or any kind of restaurant that is actually run by Alfred Romero, I don't know. I might send that back to the kitchen. I don't
You
know.
definitely need to check the health inspection stats on that before you get in there.
Health
Check the
inspection.
score.
Health wind inspection. Am I
Yeah.
right?
Well, like A-Bomb mentioned, of course, Shawn from Superstars Fan Fest is here. And, of course, that's coming up October 24th. We're about to hear all about it. But before we get into that, A-Bomb, what have you been up to? You been on a figgy find or what?
Oh my gosh, dude! Have I been on a figgy find? Listen, you Alabama sweat hogs.
Yeah.
I never stop. I never stop going on figgy finds. But the one I want to talk to you about today is the Hasbro collection. Now, I have not completed Wave 1 yet. I still need Akeem. I still need Big Boss Man. I still need Ted DiBiase. But I got a coupon on eBay, and I got a Holy Grail. I got.
Oh, nice.
His action works. He is looking good. Not too many scuffs. Yokozuna, one of the greatest big men of all time, right here. I was so scared of this guy until Lex Luger body slammed on the top of that aircraft carrier and put him in his place. So Yokozuna is my latest find. I'm so excited. He is up in the front of my collection. I had him as a kid, and now I have him as an adult, which is probably why I'm single.
Nothing wrong with that, brother.
But it makes me think. I have all these legends up here on my shelf, and I'm very proud of it. But in Rome, Georgia, on October 24th at the Forum River Center, Superstars Fan Fest is going to be going on, and man, we are in weird times. And Shawn Holcomb is here again on the Mean Street Podcast. Thank you for joining us again. We're going to run down what the plan is, how you are reacting to the COVID situation, and what wrestling fans in Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina, wherever you are, what you have to look forward to in Rome, Georgia in October. Tell us what you got, brother.
Man, first of all, I just want to tell you, I feel like I've been promoting this show for like 12 years now. I mean, this
it's
has
your
been,
version of Guns N' Roses Chinese Democracy. We've been working on this for a while.
without a doubt, and without the money. But what we started out in what was it? October. We couldn't do that show because it ended up getting canceled. Then we moved it to April. And man, did we have a lineup for April. I mean, the biggest and best lineup we've ever had. We had people talking about coming from different countries, coming to the show. And then COVID-19 hit. And we held on as long as we could before we finally just had to say, all right, we're going to have to, we didn't cancel. We're not going to cancel. We didn't cancel. We're moving it. And we decided, all right, we're going to move it to October because surely by then all this stuff's going to be blown over, you know.
Of course.
Boy, were we wrong. But I got with the forum and I was like, look, the governor thank goodness we're in Georgia. Georgia, our governor hasn't lost his mind. So we don't have the restrictions that a lot of other places have. There's no mask mandate. It's a recommendation. It's not a requirement. But the one thing that we do have that we're having to abide by is the gathering. How many people can we have in a building at one time? But thankfully, we're in a 5,000 seat arena. So I called the forum, talked to them, been talking with them. They were like, well, maybe we just need to cancel. Maybe we just need to wait it out. And then once everything blows over, we'll do it again. I said, no, here's what we need to do. We need to have our October show as planned. And they said, well, why would you do that? Because we can only have 500 people in the building. I said, well, I understand that. Then let's have 3 shows. And they were like, that's brilliant genius. I'm glad you're on our team. So we came to the agreement that we're not going to have one Superstars Fan Fest on October 24th. We're going to have 3 Superstars Fan Fest, one on October 24th, one on January 9th, and one on April 24th. Of 2021. So we're having 3 fan fests. We're calling them mini fest because we can't have as many people in the building. So we're not booking as, we usually have 20 to 30 legends at our shows. So now we're having, we're going to have a headliner at each show and then up to 10 legends there for meet and greets and that sort of thing. And of course we will have our wrestling show that night. Our headliner that was originally scheduled for October was supposed to be Sting. Because we can only have 500 people in the building, we thought that's not the best place for Sting. We're going to move him to April, where we hopefully will literally be past all this, and we'll be able to have a full-fledged 100%, boots on the ground fan fest. So Sting will not be there in October. Sting has been moved to April. But I will let all the fans know that if you have purchased Sting meet and greets, they are good for April. No need to worry about that. And any other meet and greets that you've purchased, they're all good for whatever date those guests will be showing up. For example, October, Tony Atlas is still coming. If you've bought, which surprisingly enough, Tony Atlas has sold more meet and greets than anybody else.
Wow.
Right. A lot of people in Rome are ready to see Mr. USA. So Tony Atlas, you're going to be able to get your meet and greet there in October. And then you guys that bought Barry Windham, JJ Dillon, those Jimmy Hart, those guys will either be at the January show or the April show. So you will be able to use your meet and greets whatever date that we decide to book them to come in. So. But that's it. We're doing October 24th right now. We have something pretty special. We've got Animal and Precious Paul Ellering will be there. So the Road Warriors minus Hawk will be there, and we also have Bill Eadie will be there. He's going to do half the day as the Masked Superstar, and the other half of the day as Demolition Axe. And we're going to do a once-in-a-lifetime, never-been-done photo op with Demolition Axe and Road Warrior Animal.
Oh, that's
Wow.
awesome. Yeah.
Man, I will be there for that. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
What is the day going to look like? To me, just first of all, this is genius. What your plan is to take this over 3 dates, because here's the thing: it's no longer an annual thing. You're gonna get to meet up with all your wrestling broskies out there in Rome, Georgia, 3 times in the next 6-7 months. That's incredible. So like I always view these kind of conventions as like networking. Not only do you get to go and meet the stars, but you get to meet other fans too. And you know, hopefully they're all going to be future meanies and listen to the Mean Street podcast. But also, you just get to shake hands and get to know your fellow wrestling compatriots. But what an opportunity to be able to do this 3 times. That is genius, man.
Well, we typically have anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 people show up at one of our shows. So I did the math. I'm thinking, okay, well, if we're going to have on low balling at 1,500, we'll divide it by 3. All right. So we can do 3 because we can have 500 people per show. And that's where we went with it. The good news is Animal and Paul Ellering weren't scheduled for this show in October. They have been brought on board. So we'll be able to do that now instead of having, you know, our 30 at one time. Now we're going to be able to kind of expand each time. We're going to be able to add people, legends at each one. We've yet to announce our headliner for October or January. We're going to announce our January headliner at the October show. I know who that is. But our October guy, man, because we've just kind of decided, all right, well, we're still having the show. Now we got to find somebody, a big name that's willing to come, or someone who has not been in this area a lot. So we're working on that. So we'll have an announcement. I'm told by the vendor that's bringing the headliner, we should know by tomorrow.
Nice.
And tomorrow being Friday. So hopefully we'll be able to make that announcement. And the place to look for all announcements is superstarsfanfest.com. And of course, the most up-to-date announcements is going to come on our Facebook page, Superstars Fan Fest. I run that page. I post a couple of times a day. If you have questions, please ask me. I'll be happy to answer them. But yeah, we're going to have a big time in October. Now it is going to be a little different. I'll go ahead and explain that because of COVID-19. We've had to change up the way that we're doing things. Our reserved seats on the floor, we've had to come up with a new seating chart. So what we did is we contacted everybody who had bought tickets with floor reserved tickets, which were a pretty decent amount. And we gave those fans the option of either sticking with the October date or moving their ticket to January or April. A lot of them, about half of them kept October, the other half moved to April, and a few of them scattered in there in January. But our new seating system, it's kind of a pod type system. So you're going to be able to seat up to 6 people in a pod. And then there will be a 6-foot distance between you and the next group of people. And because of that, where we typically have our fan fest in the arena, we've had to move it to the ballroom because we had to make room for the seats in the arena. So the ballroom will be where the fan fest is. The wrestling will still take place in the arena.
Gotcha. So that actually sounds similar to what we did at SHW. Of course, SHW just returned last, whatever it was, a Friday or 2 ago. And similarly, people sat in groups and then the groups kind of spread out throughout the action building. So it sounds like something similar here, which we're looking forward to. But one thing I wanted to ask you about the wrestling portion of the event. Now, I know last April or last October, you were talking about being on Fight TV and airing live on Fight TV, and you guys are going to be doing that tournament. Is that something that possibly may still happen either at this coming show or maybe in January or April?
Yes. What we're planning on doing, we're kind of moving everything that was originally scheduled for October, such as the panels, the Monday Nitro panel, the Bruiser Brody panel, all of those panels, we issued refunds on those. Everybody got their money back. We're not doing that this time for obvious reasons. We're planning on doing the Bruiser Brody Cup in April. We're planning on it being on Fight TV. All of that will happen in April. The the card that we have for October, we completely, obviously, we flipped everything, tossed it out, and we refilled it. Our buddy Dylan, who is a booking genius.
I think we've heard of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. He's somewhat well known around y'all's parts down there.
Right.
But he contacted me and he's like, "Man, do you want me to book this show?" And I was like, "Yes,
Please."
Yeah. So Dylan is booking the show, and of course, if Dylan's booking the show, he's going to hook his buddies up with Southern Honor Wrestling. And when we start announcing matches next week, you guys are going to see a lot of familiar names on the card, and it's going to be huge. We're going to have championship matches that night. Some of our legends will be participating in some matches, and it's going to be really, really cool.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see that. So not only do you get to see legends, but you also get to see some live pro wrestling booked by, honestly, one of the best bookers in Georgia right now, Dylan Freiemeyer, who you know from Southern Honor Wrestling. Let me ask you about kind of the logistics. I have two questions for you. Number one, me being just completely, and I'm going to pull out old Mr. Edie here, being completely hooked on buying wrestling figs right now. Are the vendors going to be there for these 3 shows, or can we expect them in October? Tell me about that.
Yeah, our primary vendor that usually brings his figures, he's not going to be able to make it to the October show. As of right now, we don't have a vendor for figures. If anyone's listening and they are a vendor and they want to come up, we're going to cut you a pretty good deal, and you can come and set your stuff up and sell it. We'd love to have you, because obviously logistically, there's some guys that just can't make it. There's a lot going on.
Adam's got enough that he could probably set up a table, or no?
No, these are my figs. These are my figs.
So I was gonna say, Brandon, you can probably put the word out on our social medias as well.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure. We'll definitely put it out there. So if you are looking to have vendors show up for the October show, we'll definitely put it out on our social media and try to
absolutely
get somebody to call you.
If you're a seller out there, you got a buyer right here, brother. So my follow-up question to that, just kind of logistically speaking, what about what does it look like for a meet and greet? Obviously, shaking hands. Like, is there anything like that? What's going on?
Elbows.
Well, we're going to go by the governor of Georgia's recommendations on everything. So as of right now, masks, like I said, masks are not mandatory. But if the guest is, and when I say guest, I mean the wrestling guest, the legend, the names, if they are not comfortable being around you without a mask on, then they're going to wear a mask. If they are not comfortable with you being near them without a mask on, they're going to ask you to put on a mask. Of the guys that we have booked, I've been watching some of the other appearances they've been making. Some of them are wearing them, some of them are not. And of course, I've had a lot of people be like, "Well, I'm not buying a picture with them if I've got to have my mask on and they're going to have their mask on. That's stupid." And I turn it around and say, on the contrary, this is something that you're going to be able to show your grandkids one day, because I went to a convention and met my wrestling hero during a pandemic. Look, we're wearing masks. So, at the same, it sucks. I get it. But at the same time, they're still who they are, and you still get their autograph. And
it is what it is with something like that. I mean, you can't really expect anything else. So I think you guys are doing it the right way.
Yeah. And we're going to, in the ballroom, we're going to have the tables spaced out really good. We're going to have marks on the floor where everyone that's waiting in line to meet their wrestler, they'll be spaced out 6 feet apart. We're recommending that our fans wear masks when they are not sitting in their seats. That is just, that's the governor's recommendation. I mean, like any of us, if we go to Walmart, in fact, I just came from Walmart, half the people in there are wearing masks, the other half aren't. And it's not mandatory. So it's, whatever's your comfort level. And we're going to go with it that way. We'll have hand sanitizing stations at each table before, where obviously we won't be shaking hands. We're probably going to be doing more fist bumps than anything else. But autographs are going to be going on. I've even had the question of, can I bring my own stuff still, with coronavirus going on? Can I bring my stuff from home and have them sign it? And the answer is absolutely. If you've got figures you want to bring them, they'll sign them.
There is literally so much to look forward to, and I love how seeing just American ingenuity is getting us through this pandemic. It's guys like you, Shawn. It's events like Superstars Fan Fest coming up on October 24th this year, which is less than a month and a half away.
Yeah, it's not even that. I looked at the calendar yesterday, and usually I want to be at about second or third gear by 8th week, and we're looking at week 7 starting next week, 7 weeks out. So I've got to hit the accelerator quick next week and really get the ball rolling on getting posters out, Facebook ads, podcast interviews. You guys are the best. I'll come on your show anytime. You guys are always good to me, and I get a big response because of the area that you're in. And once I start announcing some of these Southern Honor Wrestling guys, it's going to be even bigger response.
Well, Shawn, we love to have you on, not only to talk about Superstars Fan Fest, but also just to talk to you because you're a wrestling fan, you're a brother. So like we need to have you on just outside of promotion, but just to chat about wrestling.
I'd love it. Just give me a call, man. I'll do it anytime. I'm
awesome.
Always available.
Yes,
awesome,
sir, man. Sounds
good.
good.
We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And one more time, give everybody the contact information and like the Facebook and social media and all that stuff so where they can get all the info for Superstars Fan Fest coming up October 24th.
All right. So one thing I did want to add is we are the only game in town right now. When it comes to Fan Fest, when it comes to wrestling conventions, everyone has canceled. They've postponed to next year. Some of them, they're so big, I totally get it, and there's no way they could do what we're doing. But a lot of them, they're just not doing it this year. So if you want to come and meet wrestlers, you want to come to a big event and feel like you're at a big event, you're going to want to be there October 24th at the Forum River Center in Rome. Our tickets are only general admission tickets are just $15. That gets you both the access to the Fan Fest and the wrestling event that night. I'll go ahead and tell you now, one of the matches that we have booked will include Tony Atlas. He will be in action.
Nice.
Man, you're probably thinking Tony Atlas is 120 years old. How in the hell is he going to get into it? Let me tell you, Tony Atlas's arms are still bigger than my waist. And the man can still move. So it's going to be fun. And he really does put on a good show for everybody. But so tickets are only $15. You can get them at superstarsfanfest.com. No, wait a minute. Superstarsfest.com. See, now you got me doing it. Superstarsfest.com. And you click on the link there and you can get your tickets. There are some meet and greet tickets available. We are slowly getting those out so that you can pre-purchase. Missy Hyatt's is on there. Missy will be there in October. So will Teddy Long, Tony Atlas, Logan Creed will be there. I'm trying to think of what the poster looks like. Butterbean will be there.
Butterbean.
Yes.
And he will knock you out too.
Yes, he will. He's still but the nicest dude you'll ever meet, man. I mean,
Awesome.
he's just a good old country boy.
I see the Lynch Mob on there too.
Yeah. Both Matt and Joey will be there, and spoiler, they will not be in a tag team match.
Oh. Well, they're both incredible singles wrestler. I heard Tony Schiavone on an interview recently say you got to be a good singles wrestler before you be a good tag wrestler. So it's interesting to see a tag team get split up like that and have to go into singles competition. I can't wait to see that.
Yep, it's going to be great. And Miranda Gordy, she will be there. Obviously, that's Terry Bam Bam Gordy's daughter. She went straight scorched earth heel on Twitter and Facebook, and man, they are lighting her up, and it's a good feeling for a wrestling fan to see these people just really give her the up and down, and I know that she's just working them, and it's great because you can't do that anymore.
Wait, what do you mean working? I've never heard of that term. That's weird.
Yeah, no, I've never heard of kayfabe either, right? Yeah. I sent her a message. I said, "Congratulations, you're keeping kayfabe alive." So she's excited about coming. But
awesome.
So $15 tickets, superstarsfest.com, Superstars Fan Fest on Facebook. Hit me up if you got any questions. Again, we need vendors. If you sell anything, I'm going to cut you a good deal on a table, and we'd love to have you. And the success of October is going to dictate, how big we go in January. So people come on, buy those tickets, get in there. Let's fill that place up. We can seat 500 people. I want 500 people in the Forum River Center October 24th.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome. And hopefully all this COVID stuff it's just going to diminish as we go on. The numbers are going to go down. So I'm looking forward to already. I'm looking for October 24th. I'm looking forward to January 9th. I'm looking forward to April 24th. I'm on cloud nine right now. This is going to be incredible. Thank you for coming on the show, Shawn.
Absolutely.
You're welcome on Mean Street Podcast anytime.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate that.
Absolutely. We definitely got to get you on, once October 24th gets a little bit closer and maybe we're a couple weeks out, we'll get you back on one more time and to give one big final push and all that good stuff. But for anybody listening, this has been Shawn Holcomb. If you're watching, that's not Triple H. If you're watching us on YouTube, this has been Shawn Holcomb from Superstars Fan Fest. And, man, we really appreciate you. And we'll talk to you real soon, buddy. There it is.
All right.
Thanks, bud.
Thank you, guys.
Later, brother.
Appreciate it.
You're listening to the Mean Street Podcast. Brother.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Well, there you go. Shawn Holcomb, thanks to him for jumping on with us, talking about Superstars Fan Fest. Once again, that's October 24th, Forum River Center, Rome, Georgia. It's right around the corner, so grab your tickets now.
You know what Yokozuna says? He says, buy a ticket to Superstars Fan Fest in Rome, Georgia on October 24th. Superstarsfest.com, man. Like, what a great guy Shawn is, man. I really do, don't tell Alfred this, but I kind of think we found maybe someone who could take Alfred's position. Like, if he's
No, I love Alfred. Come on now.
I love Alfred too, but Shawn was freaking great. And on top of that, he's smart. He has business acumen. He understands how to make the fans happy, to deliver what they want during these unprecedented times.
And his COVID-19 beard makes him look like Triple H.
Yeah, but Alfred has that it factor that a lot of people don't have.
You're right.
Yokozuna wants to give the bonsai drop to COVID, right?
Hey, does that Yokozuna figure have an ass, or is it like the no ass real life Yokozuna?
Do what?
Like Yokozuna never had an ass. He just his leg just went straight up into his loincloth thing.
Hey,
as someone
as someone who suffers from no acetol, I resent that. I resemble that statement.
Oh, God.
So what did you guys think of wrestling this week?
All Out was this past Saturday. Let's start with that. What do we think of All Out? You guys.
Well, A-Bomb came into the house, came into the Moss compound. We watched it the day of. I had one very large gripe, other than the Matt Hardy thing, which I'm sure we'll touch on, was I felt that it was just extremely too long. I felt like they could have cut some of those matches off 10 minutes earlier.
Yeah, agreed.
Consensus? Okay, yeah.
I want to say I feel like they tried to, I've never heard them try to justify it, but I'm guessing they're just trying to make it like give the fans their money's worth, because I'm sure they've heard from plenty of fans going like, $50, man, I don't know if I want to pay $50 for a pay-per-view. And so in their mind, they're like, well, we'll just give you a really long show to make it worth your money. But I kind of agree. As the matches are great, even like the tag title match was great, but man, that was a long match. Like some of them are just super long, and you're like, okay, they probably could have got the same point across in about 15 less minutes. But yeah, I agree there.
I fully agree as well. There are so many matches where I was like, yeah, that could have been 7 or 10 minutes shorter. I don't know why they wanted to go so long, but I don't know, man. I just feel like they're shooting for this style that's very reminiscent of like New Japan and just that indie feel, but without the crowd there, like you don't have the same excitement driving the match. So I think right now, like, yeah, I see a lot of innovation from promoters. Innovation like what Shawn Holcomb has done with Superstars Fan Fest. I see a lot of innovation from WWE and AEW in their storytelling right now, but it needs to go into the storytelling in the ring. I think that's where the innovation needs to happen. And I honestly think it's not just because I'm nostalgic, but that Crash style storytelling, that Crash TV style storytelling of the Attitude Era, Vince Russo that he made famous, but that's what I think we need right now. We need short snippets. We need bam, 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 bam. This is fast. This is action. This is funny. This is cool. This is scary. Like just hit those emotions really quickly, and I think you're going to keep the audience that's tuning in on television. You're going to keep their attention a lot longer. That's my personal thought.
And I was wondering as well, like if, of course we thought the matches were long and we were watching it in the comfort of our own home with AC going and everything like that. I would love to know the wrestlers' reactions to that, because they don't have a large crowd to feed off of, one, but then number two, I'm sure the humidity out there in Florida was awful. And some of those guys look like they were blown out, like not even 5 minutes into the match.
Well, just ask Matt Seidel if the ring ropes were slippery from everybody sweating and it being so humid, because it was great to see him as number 30, or not number 30, but whatever the Joker at number 21, I think it was. And
you mean Matt Faldell?
Oh,
he's gonna kind of I mean, all the fans who are watching AEW, we know crap like that happens, and we know that.
And he was taking it in stride on Twitter in the days following. So I mean, he's being a good sport about it, and it was cool to see him. I hated to see that the very, very first thing he did in an AEW ring was botch the shooting star press, but it was still cool to see him. And luckily, he wasn't like seriously injured. He jumped right back up, did some great things throughout the rest of the match.
Yeah.
But there was one big injury, and we'll get to that in a second. But go ahead.
Now, if this would have been WWE, Vince McMahon, that would have been the last time you would have seen him.
Yeah, probably.
Sure. And which is unfortunate, but I thought it was good. And honestly, just speaking to the heat and the humidity, I just watched the promo that Tully Blanchard gave with FTR in the ring from Dynamite last night, Wednesday night. And man, first of all, it was awesome because he was kind of yelling. So there are some little nuances that these newer guys just don't seem to get. Is that like if you're given a microphone at a pro wrestling show, it's not for you to like act like you're at a TED Talk. It's not for you to give a freaking lecture to a classroom at Kennesaw State University. Yeah, you heard it here first. The champions are here. Blah blah blah. No,
could you imagine the Ultimate Warrior at a TED Talk?
The ultimate TED Talk.
That's it.
And when the rocket tanks are full of fuel, get ready for ignition.
But you're not at a TED Talk, folks. Come on, man. Like get mad, get hype, stay hype. Well, like just deliver it with some intensity. Deliver it with some level of believability. And Tully Blanchard was not turned up to 10, right? He was just simply delivering a classic old school wrestling promo where he was sounding intense. They don't do that anymore. First of all, that's not even why I brought that promo up, because he did mention it being 117 degrees in the ring at All Out. But did you guys see that promo? Are you?
I didn't see that. I must have missed that one.
Yeah, I saw it, and he's done a couple of promos, whether it's been backstage or even there was a video before FTR got in the company where he did a video backstage with Shawn Spears. Shawn Spears had done some comedy thing where he was wearing some underpants that had, I forget whose face on the underpants or something. It was something totally stupid. So they did this backstage vignette where Tully Blanchard just ripped into Shawn Spears and just, got in his face and got onto him, trying to fire him up and say, you need to take this seriously if you're going to be taken seriously. And, but yeah, from that point on, I was like, man, Tully's still got it, man. He's got it better than a lot of the current talent. As far as promos go. Yeah, as far as promos.
No doubt about it. I'm sorry, say it again.
I said as far as promos go.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think that Tully can teach those guys a lot, and I hope he is. I hope he's teaching those guys, because that was like the first promo where I'm like, oh man, I gotta listen. It's like the guys. Listen, communication is difficult. Like Brandon, I don't know if you're going to edit that spot right there, but I just talked over you. Communication is difficult. So it is a finely tuned art. We all suck at it. Me most of all. But some of these guys, they have to learn how to use that entire octave range to get people to believe, right? And I mean, just look at, I mean, you've got the entire spectrum from Jake the Snake to Macho Man Randy Savage, right, to Ultimate Warrior, taking it up again. And we just don't see that level of intensity, even in WWE. Like, it's just so weird. And Miro, let's talk about Miro. We're talking about All Elite Wrestling.
Please, let's talk about
So
Miro.
we'll jump to Dynamite right now, and then I got a couple things about All Out to go back to, but let's get to Miro because that was on Dynamite this week, which as we record this on Thursday, it happened last night on Wednesday Night Dynamite. So Miro has shown up, aka or formerly known as Rusev, but yeah, he's All Elite.
What was the crowd chanting when he came out? I couldn't hear
I
it.
thought they were saying Miro Day, but I could be wrong.
That's what I thought too, but I couldn't hear it.
I think that's what it transformed into. I think that it was kind of like off cadence, and then it transformed into it's Miro Day.
Yeah.
And he said, "I like the sound of that" or something. But
I'm excited, man. I'm excited because and he mentioned it in his promo about the brass ring at the glass ceiling that he could never get through, and I'm so because dude, we loved his character in WWE. I thought it was great, and I cannot wait and see what he does. Coming out here. I don't know why I got such a kick out of the Gucci Disney shirt that he had on.
Well, so what's so funny to me, okay, so immediately after he shows up, he's getting ripped on online. I know you guys don't stay online too often, especially Adam, but he's getting ripped on across the internet about being a part of this stupid wedding angle. The way I took it is the Young Bucks, I mean, watch Being the Elite. They're known to troll the fans and to like call the fans out for the crap that the fans talk all the time. And so my whole thing is, okay, he did this stupid wedding angle in the WWE and everybody crapped all over it, and they should have because it was terrible with Lana and Bobby Lashley and all that crap. And unfortunately for Rusev, he was stuck in a terrible angle. And luckily he got released shortly thereafter, and it was a blessing in disguise for him, I'm sure. But I kind of found it as like, that's the joke, is that we're bringing him in with this totally ridiculous wedding angle that just started on Saturday at All Out with a backstage interview. Like, we didn't know anything about this until that interview 3 days ago where Kip Sabian said, "Oh, we're getting married and we set a date and I'm going to announce my best man on this coming Wednesday on Dynamite." And of course, everybody's like, "Oh, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be?" And so I thought I laughed when I found out, okay, they're sticking him in this wedding angle. And I know that they only did that as kind of as a joke, like a jab at WWE. Like I kind of appreciated the joke. So I know he's getting a lot of crap online for it, but I feel like those are people that the joke went.
Well, it's one of the many jabs they took, including that this is the most time I've ever seen Twitch mentioned in professional wrestling ever, and it's mainly because of the WWE thing, so
right. They even had a graphic, I think it was at All Out, on the screen that said like, this is approved by AEW or whatever it said, because the whole thing with Vince not letting his talent on be on Twitch anymore, which, come to find out, that was like they said they just have to use their real names on Twitch and not the WWE character names or something like that. I don't know. I don't keep up enough.
I mean,
yeah, but anyways,
they backed off a lot.
But yeah, it got blown way out of, up big time when the news first broke about that. But again, I don't keep up enough with WWE to really.
Yeah, because I'll tell you right now, the second that my job tells me that I can't run my OnlyFans page, then I'm going to tell them they can stick it.
Well, I've been promoting your OnlyFans page on Mean Street Podcast social media. So,
I mean, it's only a 1 month subscription, $79.95.
I feel like I'm the only one signed up for it though so far. Is that the case?
There's some other weirdos that are on there.
Okay.
They're subscribed on, but yeah,
I'm not the only one.
I appreciate the support, man.
You got it, man. I can't wait for the next video. Anyways, moving on. A-Bomb, what's up?
I'm not gonna say I'm like, wait, you guys. This is why I try to talk so much, because you guys just talked like about 3 things, and I have no idea what to say right now. So Miro has different color hair. I
was hoping he would have the Big Papa Pump like bleached beard too.
Yeah, he came. He slim shaded it on us, man. I was digging it. No, that was good.
I liked it. So I hope to see more time on the mic. I think that he was primed and ready to go to be one of the biggest guys, not just because of Rusev Day in WWE, but even before that, his entrance to WrestleMania 31 is still one of my favorite.
The best.
One of my favorite WrestleMania entrances of all time. And I thought he was just going to be so big and so good. And he did get to that level, but like Vince just wants to control everything so much that we lose that organic appeal that pro wrestling has, where we don't know what's going to happen.
Was it you guys that told me this? Or maybe it was like Miro said it on his Twitch video or something about him and Lana did a little hanky panky on that tank that they wrote out to.
I heard that same thing. Yeah, so that may have been him that said that.
Okay, I heard it somewhere. I couldn't remember if it was one of you guys or not. Anyways,
and just because I don't keep up with that shit, they are legitimately married, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, yeah, so I don't know if she was showing up on his Twitch shows, or I don't watch his Twitch videos, so I don't know if she was on it, and if that's, but apparently I think it was her that kind of got Vince, was like the final straw for Vince to say, okay, look, I don't want my talent on doing these third-party videos and stuff like that.
Okay.
Supposedly, Lana was the one that took the blame for that. Again, I don't know if that's true. I just spread the rumors. You guys do your own.
I love spreading rumors. That's one of my favorite things to do of all time.
Yeah, the meanies can do their own research. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just spreading it.
But I will say that as far as the story angle goes, that the best man and all that, I don't really care much. I don't give a rip about Kip Sabian. I think that I could take Kip Sabian in a fight, and that's like I see him and I'm like, what am I supposed to believe about this guy? Like what am I like? He looks like just he looks and acts like Joey Janela with a haircut. Like
he reminds me of one of those like
how many bad boys do you need?
Yeah, he reminds me of like one of those Instagram boyfriends, that just follow his hot girlfriend around with a camera just to take photos.
Wait, what are you doing in your free time, dude?
I'm making content for my OnlyFans page.
I was gonna say your OnlyFans, and then your Instagram. You're following boyfriends.
Adam's mad because I made a reference that went over his hair.
What are you doing with your free time, buddy?
You're not going to the store and doing some figgy finds.
Well, let's back it up for a minute, and I want to talk about the Matt Hardy spot.
Okay, there's two things I want to talk about from All Out. We talk about Matt Hardy, and then I also want to talk about Sheeta Thunder Rosa. But let's let's go with Matt Hardy first.
Adam was there with me when I saw it, and as soon as I saw the back of his head hit the concrete, and something you could tell from what's the referee's name? Aubrey. Yeah, I keep wanting to say Aubrey Plaza, but I know that's not it.
Aubrey Edwards.
Aubrey Edwards. Thank you. That you could tell that she knew that something was. That's awesome. That she knew that something was up.
Well, he looked like a dead fish.
Yeah, you can see he got his damn bell rung.
Right.
And I couldn't believe that they continued on with that after she was trying to call for it.
Right.
So I don't know. I got a little pissy about that.
Let's remember one thing is that for the most part, the official, the referee, is sort of a hybrid role, but it's honestly 75% performer.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I agree with that. But I think that if you're in that spot and you're close enough to the performers and you see something wrong, that you should have the final say in it. And I don't think that she did.
I think from what I ended up hearing was that Tony ended up putting it off on the doctor. So the doctor was right there. She threw the X up. Doctor showed up. They cut away for a long period of time.
Yeah.
At which point I'm going, okay, are we being worked here? Like, what is actually happening? Because it did look like he smacked his head. He did look like – I don't know if you guys remember this. I don't remember if it was on a Raw or a pay-per-view a few years back. Enzo and Cass were in a tag match with somebody, and I don't remember who, but Enzo went to do like a baseball slide
under the ropes,
and his head hit the rope and like kind of whiplashed onto the ring, and then he just fell right to the ground, and he immediately like, I know,
but I remember that his arms went like this.
They went straight, like he locked up and like dead fish, like just hit the ground because he was completely out, and I was like, oh man, that's like legit. But
his arms pulled the Vince McMahon quads.
Right. They just locked up. But that's kind of what Hardy reminded me of when he first his head smacked, and then he was just kind of laying there, kind of stiff, and his face was just kind of like he looked like a dead fish. I was like, okay, no, I think he's like unconscious right now. And it didn't last long because shortly thereafter he was trying to get back to his feet. But part of me, and I know he took a lot of heat from his wife, especially. She was ripping on him, on the company in general.
I saw her tweets on that, yeah.
But, I know in his mind, being an old school wrestler, especially an extreme guy who did all the crazy ladder matches, all the big crazy spots back in the day throughout the years, in his mind, okay, they have this stipulation where if he loses, he has to leave the company. And I know that wasn't the plan. So, and he knew that wasn't the plan. So I feel like in his mind, he's like, no, I'm fine. I have to finish this match. I have to go over because that's the stipulation. But I also feel like, okay, everybody can clearly see that that's a legitimate injury.
Yeah.
And we'll understand if you guys want to say, you know what, no contest. You didn't lose. It's a no contest. We'll have the match again on a future episode of Dynamite or something. But I feel like his old school wrestler mentality was, no, I'm fine. I'll finish the match. So whether the doctor cleared him in the 3-minute concussion protocol test that they did or not, you know, I feel like it was mainly Hardy that did it, but then I feel like Tony's got to take the heat because
Yeah, and I'm sure he will on that.
Because I mean, he's like, you know, and the bottom line is he's the one responsible for everybody. So
yeah, because I mean, he was just, you could tell he was. Hang on, my child is walking up the stairs. They're extremely loud in my house.
Oh, you're good, man.
Okay, sounds like I got Yokozuna walking up and down my stairs, and it's a little 4-foot kid. Yeah, but you know, you could see that Hardy was just dazed and was getting up, just saying crazy shit like, "It smells like blueberry paint," and they're like, "We need to stop this match immediately."
Well, the reason I thought we were being worked was because his whole gimmick is he's unkillable, unbreakable. His T-shirt's got blood all over it that says "You cannot kill Matt Hardy" or whatever.
You can knock his ass out though.
And so the whole thing is, I'm like, wow. So they're actually taking this to like they're kind of like breaking a kayfabe situation. Like, what's going on? Because at first I thought, okay, no, he's legit injured.
Well, we thought it was pre-recorded too. Like, we didn't realize it was going on live. You know, I thought that was a pre-recorded match.
Ah, I got you. Well, then when they got down to the scaffolding, he starts climbing the scaffolding. I'm like, okay, well, certainly he's not actually injured then, because there's no way he would be doing this if what just happened was serious. And so then after the fact was when everybody's like, he should have never been climbing the scaffolding if he was injured and blah, blah, blah. And so for all I know, or from what we know, it was legit. And he was obviously on Dynamite last night. And did you see that when he came out and addressed the crowd?
Didn't. The only thing that I got caught up today doing some other things. The only thing that I caught today was the Rusev spot. And that was it. I'm going to go back and watch probably since I'm done with this.
You got caught up doing other things like your OnlyFans page?
No, I did that the day before.
I'm still waiting for the new video to drop. Anyway,
new videos drop on Thursdays and Saturdays.
nude video or new? Video?
I like to call them lewds with implied nudes.
Anyways, what I thought was going to happen when he came out to address the crowd last night, and Rebby, his wife, was standing in the crowd holding their youngest, like, newborn son. I thought, okay, here's what's going to happen. This whole thing's been a work. He's going to get out there. He's going to apologize to her, apologize to the crowd, and, you know, say it was a mistake. He shouldn't have been reckless like that. And then Sammy Guevara was going to come out and jump him from behind with a chair or something. That's what I expected to happen, because I thought it was I thought it was a ruse. It wasn't. Apparently it's legit. So basically he just apologized to the crowd, and he said as soon as he's cleared, he's going to come back and he's going to be better than ever, and he's going to go after the AEW championship. So
what's a ruse?
A ruse, you know, like we've been had, like
it's a cunning attempt to try to trick you. It's a quote from Clerks. Come on, man.
Oh, sorry. Anyways. So yeah, so that's what happened there. So nothing happened. Basically, he just came out and said, "I'm fine. Thanks for all the support. You guys sent me a lot of great messages. Blah 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 blah. I'll be back whenever I'm cleared."
Yeah, I think he'll be fine overall. But that was a scary thing. We also had the first ever, and we're running low on time here, I know. But we've got a lot to talk about, you know. But the first ever Mimosa Mayhem match. Which ended in Jericho taking a plunge in a cunning concoction of champagne, a little bit of the bubbly, and some freshly squeezed orange juice. What did you guys think about this match?
I thought it was a fun match. I mean, I really did. It wasn't. I mean, it was cheesy, but it was entertaining. I liked it. I didn't have anything bad to say about it.
Yeah, I overall, I said going into it last week that it was ridiculous, but I was just more curious to see what it was going to be than anything else, and it was fun. I was thinking for him, and they talked about like how humid it was there and being 100 and whatever degrees in the ring. I was like, you know what? I bet both of those guys wanted to be the one to take a dip in the drink there because is how hot it was. But no, I thought it was funny, and the way he took the plunge was good. The bump there at the end, and then the best part is this happens with Jericho all the time. With after the fact on Twitter and Instagram, the fans start working the Photoshop. Like Mossman would be one to do this because he's great with the Photoshop. But the shot of him in the hot tub full of the mimosa has been Photoshopped into like a ton of different things now. And so if you follow Chris Jericho on Twitter or Instagram, he's been sharing them left and right, and it's a lot of good stuff. But
that's awesome. I think about another match too in our limited time here. Of course, the main event of the evening, Jon Moxley, the AEW heavyweight champion, going against MJF, which had a great build-up. I really enjoyed this match. What do you guys think?
It was good. I didn't, it didn't surprise me. It was cool. It was a good match. I was more impressed with the my main event of the evening, which was Thunder Rosa and
gosh, we have so much to talk about.
I was going to get there. I was going to get to that because let's wrap up on that match because I feel like for all of us that was probably our match of the night, which it's funny because I feel like what we talked about last week before All Out happened kind of is how it ended up playing out. Like, I was kind of looking forward to the Mimosa match. I figured it would be kind of fun. It was. I felt like Thunder Rosa Shida was going to be the match of the night. To me, it was. I thought Moxley and MJF was going to be a good, solid match. It was. But I wasn't shocked that, MJF did not win because, like I said last week, I felt like it's still a little too soon for him to win it. But I do see him getting it at some point. But while we're on that MJF real quick, did you see this way Dynamite opened last night with the MJF and Jericho pulling up at the same time? And did you happen to catch that, Adam?
I saw it on YouTube this afternoon.
So they pull up at the same time. Tony's out front where the cars are pulling up, and he's got the mic like he's going to interview. And they both walk up from different sides. And the way they're playing this situation is that they both really like each other. Like they're both like the biggest heels in the company. And so they act like they're all buddy. And then when they walk off, there's like a camera following each one of them. And they both are like, what a loser. It's funny the way they're playing it. And I could see the two of them doing a lot of really good comical and just really good stuff together down the line. But anyways, let's get Adam, did you have anything about the main event match or?
Not really. I just really thought of MJF, especially after Dynamite last night, and I'll close on this. Because here's the thing. This has nothing to do with what has happened over the past week. I'm just starting to see some stars align. When I saw
Wardlow?
Absolute Ricky.
Oh, Ricky Starks.
Starks. I was like, Sparks? But that can't be right. So Absolute Ricky Starks coming out.
That would be my name. That's going to be my wrestling name. Ricky Sharts.
He absolutely sharts himself every time he So when I see him come out, he's dressed up as Darby Allin, as Taz would say, as Darby Allin, and he just delivers this incredibly charismatic promo. And I was like, man, I want to see MJF and Ricky Starks go at it. That would be freaking awesome.
That'd be good booking right there.
That's the future, I think, in the next 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. I think that's what we're going to see we're going to see that match right there, possibly with a championship title on the line. You heard it here first, folks, on the Mean Street Podcast. I'm predicting the future.
Sounds good. And I've been a fan of Ricky Starks ever since we started seeing him at the NWA shows. And ever since he showed up on Dynamite, I thought, that was a great acquisition because, I mean, think of all the different matches he could have, great matches, and the one you just mentioned with MJF. But speaking of NWA.
Acquisition. Hold up. Acquisition? Look at the big brains on Brandon. I mean, come on.
Anyways, moving on. So speaking of NWA, that brings us to Thunder Rosa, the NWA Women's Champion. And although it was not the main event of the night, I do feel like I'll speak for myself and possibly you guys as well.
Yeah, it was for me.
I thought that was match of the night with her and Shida for the AEW Women's title. And not only was it an amazing match, and we can talk about that here in a second, but I was wondering if they would do anything else with Thunder Rosa or with the NWA in general. And last night on Dynamite, they announced for next week, Thunder Rosa will be defending the NWA Women's title on Dynamite next week against Ivelisse.
I saw that. And so, I mean, obviously there's been no announcement of her being signed yet to AEW. Thunder Rosa being signed.
Yeah.
So this is still like she's just a roaming wanderer looking for a good fight and putting her title on the line like a good champion does. But I would love to see her end up with being all elite, right? And that's the thing is they are just AEW is not scared to cut the check to sign some contracts right now. So now's a good time, I think.
It's just making me think that the door is still pretty open there for any other NWA people to come in and work. I'm thinking Nick Aldis for sure at some point I think would be cool. I mean, they could still do you've been hearing the rumblings of Cody Aldis 3 because they've had the 2 matches already where they flip-flopped the NWA World's title there a couple times, but
And we have Eddie Kingston, of course, leading that stable of Butcher and the Blade and the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah.
I would love to see. Honestly, I'm such a big fan of Power. I'd love to see damn near the entire roster come over to AEW. If the Cons can afford that, I would love to see it. I want to see James Storm. I want to see Eli Drake. I want to see them all.
Well, so they've got a new pay-per-view deal that's coming up. Have you guys been seeing this? The NWA.
Yeah.
I forget who it's with. The United Wrestling something rather. I think I shared some of it on MSP's Facebook page. But maybe we talk a little more about that next week when we can find out a little more about it, because I think that's starting up here pretty soon. And I want to say maybe it's like a weekly pay-per-view situation they have going on. But
I want to ask one thing, one quick thing before we cut out is, do you think that in your honest opinion, this may open it up for seeing guys from Impact or ROH come over, or do you think that's still kind of wishful thinking at this point?
I think personally, I think that it's more likely with Impact. ROH, I don't think anyone's talking about ROH right now. But I do think with Impact, especially because Matt Cardona is then kind of good with Cody. Mm-hmm. And Matt Cardona's BFF, Brian Myers, is in Impact Wrestling.
Yeah. Well, the Good Brothers.
And on top of that, you have a lot of other big name talent like the Good Brothers.
And they're all buddies with the Young Bucks. And so, I mean, you just never know.
And Heath Miller.
I
got kids.
Yep. So the one thing about Thunder Rosa Shida, first of all, like we said, it was a great match. I do like the fact that she's coming back on Dynamite. I found it interesting that she's defending the NWA Women's title on the a different company's show, which is kind of crazy to me. But like you said, it's cool that she's kind of going place to place and defending it. You know, years ago when they started doing the 10 Pounds of Gold series on YouTube, is that what it's called? Yeah. With Nick Aldis, it showed a lot of stuff where he was over in Japan and different parts of the world defending the NWA World's Championship, which I thought was really cool. This is before Power even debuted. And so I just really like that idea that they're going all over the place. And I do want to mention real quick, because I think it's coming up in the next week or two. I'll have to double check. But there's a show, I think it's in Texas, an indie show, and it's going to be an all-female show, kind of like that Evolution pay-per-view, but on the indie level. And Thunder Rosa is actually defending the NWA Women's Championship against our pal, the American Kaiju, Lindsay Snow.
I saw that. Yeah, I thought that's pretty awesome.
So anyways, I thought that was cool. So that's coming up. Check our social media and you can find out when that is, because I think they're going to be broadcasting it somewhere. I don't know if it's for free on YouTube or if it's a Fight TV pay situation. But anyways, I'm sure that'll be a pretty good match as well. But I think that's all we got, because we're trying to pack a lot into this hour plus here. But thanks again.
We're trying to put Yokozuna in Macho Man's tights right now. That's what we're trying to do. And you just can't do that. There's too much to talk about, too much to fit in there, not enough room for old Yoko in Savage's tights.
We will pick it up next week with all the extra stuff that we think about later that, we should have said this or we should have said that. We'll talk about it next week. And we'll be back. Thanks again to Shawn Holcomb, Superstars Fan Fest, October 24th, Rome, Georgia, Fordham River Center. And superstarsfest.com. Get your tickets. Anything else? Is that it?
That's it. I'm going to go back here and grab me another taco from Alfred and Steven Seagal.
Be careful. Have some Pepto-Bismol. And,
your head has been blocking Seagal this whole time, and I forgot he was on that Photoshop.
Steven Seagal is better just chop kicking some onions and some herbs and spices. And some cherry sauce.
On that note,
True.
Ring the bell. He's tapping out.
Ask him! Go ahead and ask him.
Hey, I got you.